Welcome to Findexable's Fintech Diversity Radar podcast. My name is Chisom Ezeilo, your host for this edition. In this podcast series, we are talking to global leaders in fintech about the issue of diversity and what it takes for women to be successful in financial services, which is still very much a male-dominated industry. Today, I'll be speaking with Annette Evans, the VP of People and Culture at GPS. GPS is a trusted and proven go-to payment processing partner for today's leading challenger brands, some of which includes Revolut, Sterling Bank, and Curve. Annette has had quite an interesting career growth within the fintech space and is globally changing the narratives for female fintech leaders. Welcome to Findexable's podcast, Annette, and we are certainly happy to have you here, and we can't wait to hear all about your journey.
Thank you so much, Chisom. I think it's really an honor to be part of this Findexable growth, and looking forward to having a really interesting conversation.
Perfect. Let's get into it. So, Annette, could you tell us about yourself and your career trajectory to becoming the head of Peoples, but most recently, the VP of People and Culture at GPS?
Yes, no, I'm happy to sort of take you through that journey. And I think for anyone within financial technology, they'll tell you that it's definitely a journey that is speeded up through how the industry is just taking a real spin at the moment. So I've been with GPS for coming on to about 2.5 years now. And prior to GPS, I've always enjoyed being in the technological sector. So I've been in digital technology and now within financial technology. It's been probably the most challenging part of my whole entire career. And not just because, I've sort of got to the level that I am, but just generally the learning curve in being in such a progressive area is just amazing. So having gone into financial technology, there are some really good pros in being in this sector, and there are a lot of challenges also. So what I've been able to do as now the VP of People and Culture at GPS is really bring my understanding of developing initiatives and promoting employee well-being into this high pressurized industry. So for me, culture is where the organization is the heart of. So we build our people by creating the right culture for new entrants and current employees at GPS. So we want them to feel cultivated. We want them to feel, a sense of company pride for GPS and who they work with. So for me, I initially started off in the public sector, straight out of uni and figuring out where exactly do I go in my career. So I've got a law background, and then later on went to do a master's in human resource management. And from that point, I absolutely knew that I wanted to build my career in being a HR professional. So as time has gone on, I've moved industry, I've moved different sectors. And I think that the most important part of where I am now is that, I've actually got a role where I can actually make a massive change to just the HR sector in general. So a really important role for GPS, but generally an important role to inspire and encourage other people to join HR.
I think I personally agree with you when you say that culture is the heart of any organization, and I am personally big on impact. So I like the fact that you're creating impact in your field of specialty. Okay, so you've successfully climbed some of the highest ladders in terms of advancing your fintech career on a global space. Can you tell us about your journey to the top? Like, I can't wait to hear all of it.
Oh, the journey, as you can imagine, it's not it's not been easy at all. We all have challenges and areas of our career growth that, you know, we wish we had gone back and done something different, or taken a different path. I'll give an example. Not too long ago, last couple of weeks, I had a reunion with some old uni mates on a Zoom, and one of the questions we asked ourselves was, you know, would you go back and do anything different? You know, would you have done a different degree? Would you have, you know, gone to a different employer? And, you know, safe to say, I was probably one of the only ones that said, no, I wouldn't have done anything different at all. So knowing that I did that law degree and potentially I could have gone down the route of being, you know, a high-flying lawyer in the city, I chose to go into HR, which is quite a different route that most people would take if they had that sort of background. However, I realized pretty soon that where my core skills lied was within, you know, cultivating people, encouraging managers to do the best that they can to also encourage development within their teams. And so I had to sit back and sort of understand what is the core area of my ability and how can I impact change in an organization. And one thing I realized quite early on is that I'm just really good in talking to people. And I think that's a very big area that people don't value that much, is someone being able to, you know, be the middleman, deal with some challenging situations, and also remaining calm whilst doing so. So from early on, I had, you know, quite a few managers say, you know, you're really good at the sort of people focus aspect. And, you know, with HR, there's also the administration part of things and, you know, being able to do the not so exciting areas of HR, you know, it might be restructuring, redundancies, cheapy transfers, you name it. So I was able to get that sort of 360 insight into the different areas of HR. And at the moment, what I would consider myself to be is I am a HR generalist, but I do specialize in the areas of culture. So what we mean by culture when we add that onto the job title, because a lot of people may look at my job title and think, oh, that's a bit of a vanity title. What does that actually mean? And yeah, no, I would say the same. But when you actually look at it, the core of any business is to do with their people. Mm-hmm. So supporting flexible working, which has become even more so greater during COVID, offering a diverse and lively, inclusive working environment is what drives people to stay and join organizations. And essentially, that's what I'm here to do, come up with innovative ideas in how we can continue to motivate our people. It's a fast-paced environment, Chisom. Honestly, the last 18 months for us has been go, 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 but it's all stretched us to our limits and made us, you know, better professionals in what we do. So, you know, if I was to say anything about the success of sort of climbing the highest ladders in this particular role, I think it's being innovative and great stakeholder management. So you should be able to talk to all the different sets of people within your organization and it be relatable to them.
I think a key thing that I got from what you just said is you have to be self-aware of who you are and what you can do, like at a point in time in your career, because it gives you clarity on the things you can do next. I think that culture is really a big part of any organization, and I think you're doing amazing work.
Absolutely.
So what specific challenges did you face as a female in fintech, and how have you gotten through these challenges?
Yeah, so I think most females in whatever industry they're in, so let's put fintech aside, as females inherently, we sometimes have difficulty with, you know, finding our voice. It might be, you know, a big boardroom situation where you have to really speak up and show your worth. And I would say initially when I started off in HR, I became a little bit scared of doing so. I remember a few board meetings that I had to attend as a HR advisor or even a HR manager, sort of going back sort of 8 years ago. I would literally have butterflies in my stomach every time I was told to go to that type of meeting. I just couldn't believe that, they would be interested in anything I had to say. So I had to really work on my confidence and figure out that actually, Annette, you do know what you're saying. You've studied for this pretty hard. You know people, you have the ideas that are generated day in, day out. Any senior HR professional would know that, you go in the shower at night and you're continually thinking about new ways in which, to keep people engaged in the business. Oh yeah, we should do that. Oh, actually, should we think about doing this type of program? And, it's continuously thinking about how to improve and accelerate your organization. So finding my voice, I think that's a massive challenge, still is today, but what I've decided and made a sort of commitment to myself is you have to do more of the same. Those challenges only become easier when you sort of break those barriers and continue to push them to the highest height. And I'm in a real blessed opportunity where, as a female senior manager in the business, it gives me the opportunity to bring more females in, to bring more BMEs, to bring more people who are within the LGBT community. So those challenges never stop. But we have an amazing team. We have an amazing C-suite team in the organisation that are committed to combating some of those challenges that females have.
So will you say that imposter syndrome is one of the challenges that females face generally?
Yes, imposter syndrome, it's spoken about so much, and my view on it is it will always be there in some degree or some form. I don't think it ever goes away for a lot of people. It's just how you deal with it long term. So there are so many times where females will get promotions and they'll ask themselves, should I really got this promotion? Whereas the male counterparts at junior levels, and they're like, yes, I should be CEO of this company, I can do a better job. And so we've really got to believe in ourselves. But how we start believing in ourselves is collectively, as an organization, as a business, is to challenge some of those thoughts that people who suffer with imposter syndrome think. You don't have to be all singing and dancing, and that's what females sometimes think. I need to be 100% confident in every area of my role. That's not the case. If you were, there would be no areas for development. So the development side of things is really important, and that your organization has a framework to enable you to be able to reach out and really jump into those development areas.
When I started out my career, one of the advice my boss at the time gave me was, Chisom, as a female, you're going to feel like this, right? So whenever you go into a meeting, do not leave without making sure your voice is heard. And I have taken that with me everywhere I go, and it has kind of helped me build my confidence in a lot of ways, actually. So I totally agree with
Exactly.
building confidence challenges that females face generally. Okay. So GPS has teamed up with Findexable as a sponsor for the Fintech Diversity Radar. Can you share what a project like this means for GPS?
I think Findexable is something new, it's cutting edge. And I think at GPS, we've always been open to different perspectives. And, we're continually looking at how we can improve the transparency of our D&I journey. So, we believe we're on a massive journey when it comes to thinking about how we communicate with our staff about diversity and inclusion initiatives. So when the Diversity Radar came about, it was absolutely what we wanted to do, not just for the fact that it's industry specific, but because it's also data driven. And I think for any organization, and for you to be really thinking about how you progress your organization, data has to be at the core or the forefront of everything that you do. So working with Findexable, it allows GPS to better support and connect with also our ecosystem, because without our ecosystem, we would be nothing. We all connect in some shape or form. So emphasizing the importance of diversity, using, reputable and relevant data gives companies like us that competitive edge. And I think that's really important to show, again, those who are attracted to GPS, those who we're looking to retain at GPS. It's probably one of the areas that for us, we can, do a song and dance about, we can, go to events and learn more. So just generally diversity at GPS will always have a profound impact on our company culture, our beliefs, everything we do to drive success at GPS. This is an amazing opportunity, and to be at the beginning of the journey will really allow us to shape things for the Diversity Radar, and also give our own perspective of internally how it's working for us as an organization.
Perfect. So it's usually said that a diverse team usually leads to better product. So it's safe to say that GPS, by joining us on this, is going to have better products like henceforth, like going forward. So we're really excited to have GPS be a sponsor for this program and for the Fintech Diversity Radar. So as a global leader in fintech, what advice do you have for an aspiring woman like me who looks up to you and is working hard to become a thought leader within fintech?
Good question. And I think I said this initially, do more of the same. I think initially when I came to GPS, one thing that I was really proud of, and still to this day, is that we give our employees the opportunities to become thought leaders. And by thought leaders, a thought leader is in each and every one of us. So we all have an expertise, we all have a view, we all have something that we're passionate about in regards to talking about. The difficulty is, or sometimes the blocker is the channels to be able to do that. So what we've done is we have an amazing PR manager at GPS who is always scouring the market for opportunities for individuals within the business to do thought leadership pieces. It could be podcasts, it could be things like this, video interviews, it could be just writing a piece on the website. But your organization has to be committed to, showcasing those individuals. Advice, practice makes perfect. It's probably the oldest trick in the book, or the saying in the book. But the more you do something, the better you become at it. You cannot become worse at something by doing it more, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think there's two ends to that spectrum. Is do more of the same. Practice makes perfect. And also try and think about not necessarily sometimes the work or the opportunities internally. There may be opportunities externally within your own sort of personal networks to, as I said, it might be, I think more recently, a lot of people are going on Clubhouse. And the beauty with the beauty with things like Clubhouse is you don't have to show your face. But it gets you into the mode of, talking to other people on a specific topic and really starting to make that network connection. So do more of the same, practice makes perfect, and also define your passion. So what's your passion? What do you enjoy talking about? That's not so difficult and it just, rolls off the tongue, and leverage that. I think it's important to leverage that expertise. Never forget about whether you're fully involved in volunteering opportunities outside work. How can you connect that with the work that you do in your 9 to 5 job? So speak to your marketing department also and your manager about what opportunities you would like to see yourself in the next sort of 6 to 12 months. That might be via an appraisal, it might be just via a one-to-one chat, but put yourself forward. What's the worst that can happen?
Though this, I think I'm on the right path because I kind of am doing a few of the things that you said. So
Brilliant,
I think it's
brilliant.
coming, I'm on the right path. So this
Good.
has been an amazing 30 minutes here, and I have had an exciting time speaking with you. I have learned a lot actually. Do you
Fantastic.
have any final words for really anyone that listens to this? And you have any final words?
Yeah, and it's quite simple. If you're starting out in your career, it doesn't matter whether it's in HR, marketing, sales, whatever it is, you will get there. And practice makes perfect. If you're really committed to wanting to climb the career ladder, take all the opportunities that are available. I know sometimes you may see an opportunity and get scared about it, but I don't want to do that. As I said, what's the worst that can happen? You go, you learn, you put that knowledge into your knowledge bank, and you continue to build that career pathway. And that's what I call it. It's a career pathway. So you may start off by doing, smaller bits, but ultimately you will get to your chosen path if you are committed and motivated enough.
Thank you so much for your time, Annette. I had a splendid time chatting with you, and
Brilliant.
I had a splendid time. Thank you to our audience for listening to the Findexable Fintech Diversity Radar podcast. Feel free to follow us on Findexable social media platforms. For more information on the Fintech Diversity Radar, head to our website, findexable.com.